Alright, sit back, get comfortable. This is going to be probably a long video. We're going to take a deep dive on what I have learned about photography from the first video that I posted. Now we're going to use our Panasonic GH5 for taking photos. Now, I'm going to start this video from simple and try to go to advanced. So if you want to know more, watch longer in the video. If you want to know just the basics, I guess you'd be clicking off the video fairly quickly. But we're going to start right here with this photo box. Right there. Alright, this is a photo box I got off of Amazon. I will post a link in the display, or in the description where I got this box from. The biggest gripe I have with this box is opening it up for the very first time. They have it folded so tightly it's pathetic. But it has one LED strip with a magnet on the side. Yeah, it could be a better magnet. And then an LED strip across here that's actually taped on. Can't move it. So each strip has its own USB power cord. This is not included. If you don't have a dual, you're going to need to get a dual or two singles. I was lucky enough to have a dual. The power switch, you can dim it and low and make it brighter. And the other one is just straight up on. That's just one. We'll turn on the other one. Oh, that was the top one. Turn on the side one. There we go. Okay, now you should be able to see inside here because it's kind of bright. If I push this cloth, there's 4 cloths that come with it. There's red, there's blue, there's black, and there's white. I like using white. For this photo box, it reflects the most amount of light. Don't push it back all the way because, as you can see in that corner, you see a gap. Don't like that. Pull it forward just a little bit. Golden. Now, that I said before, it's always good to set your camera up ahead of time. So we're going to take a picture of test subject. Yes, that is a squishy cow. I'm going to turn our camera on. Make sure you take the lens cap off because obviously you're not going to get any photos. If you want to be all out simple, I think on the Panasonic GH5, I think IA is automatic. That was straight up automatic. So we will actually play around with the manual settings. You can take that photo, bring it into Photoshop or image editing software, edit it a little bit. How I have the photos saved onto the GH5 is in JPEGs and in RAW. RAW is a format where you can, if you have the right editing software, you can edit the photograph dramatically without even really changing the photograph. You can revert it completely back to where you had it before you made any changes. It's awesome. I've been playing with it a lot. It's awesome. But we are going to go into manual mode, which is the M on the top of the camera. And this is on this camera, this is a 25mm lens. The aperture is maximum of 1.7, I do believe. This is considered to be the nifty 50 for the GH5 because the crop sensor, it basically doubles what's on here. So I can't zoom in. If I want to zoom into, I gotta zoom in here. This is not a telephoto lens, this is a set focal length. I can adjust my focus and that's about it. But I'm using autofocus. I have autofocus set on a spot Come on, it's not. Leave there. See, it's set on a spot, and I can move it around. I can have that spot as being autofocus, so when I focus, put anything in there, and that spot's in focus. There is a meter on the bottom right there of the screen that's telling me that the other settings, the ISO, shutter speed, and the f-stop, that they're all, it's just going to be underexposed. When I take a picture of this cow, it's going to be really, really, really dark. And it was. I'll show the picture up here. I want my ISO to be as low as possible. On this camera, I can do it in electronic 100, but its native is 200. So we'll go right there. The meter is still saying just under 3 stops. So we will change our, we will change our shutter speed and go to a 60th of a second. We are at f-stop of 11. We could probably bring that down to f-stop 8. The lower the f-stop, the more out of focus behind your focus area will be. I can bring this down to 1.7. That means if I have this nose focused, probably from about mid-body back will start being completely out of focus and gradually get worse from there. It's good for cinematic shots, for artistical shots, but when you're doing shots for trying to sell your animals, you want to have your f-stop, your aperture size, you want it to be, you want your whole animal to be in focus. So we're going to do our f-stop, our aperture at 8.0. We're going to do a shutter speed of 60th of a second, and our ISO is at 200. As you can see on the picture I just posted up, that was a much brighter photo. Now I'm going to show you what the f-stop actually really does. I'm going to put a tape measure in there and show you the differences between the f-stops. Alright, as you can see, I have the tape measure in here. I'm going to focus in on this spot right here on the f8 on the aperture setting, and I'll show you how much of that it will be in focus. Because we know our snakes and our other reptiles will either A, move, or B, or of course the snakes could be going that way. So it's nice to have as much of it in focus as possible. We'll move the, actually I'm going to take this a horizontal, and I am going to move my focus point, move it down, now with that you'll see on, I'll put it on the screen right there. I'm actually going to take another one so that it's way on the edge. You can see how much of the tape measure is actually out of focus. So because of that, I am going to actually adjust, go to a higher. Let's go all the way up to f18. We're still at, it's going to be a dark image. Yep. So we need to, I don't want to really go any slower than a 60th of a second. So I'm going to actually bump up my ISO to 1600. And there you go. Now you can see in focus almost all the way down to the 10. Got quite a bit in focus at f18. So we are at, so because of that, I think I am going to be happy with going lower. I'm going to try 400 for ISO. There, that was the 400 ISO, 13 f13. And a 60th of a second shutter stop. So now if I take a picture of this cow, it should be in really good focus, and the whole area will be in focus. Let's go all the way down to 1.7. We got 1600 ISO. Let's see how well that does. Now, you saw on that picture that the very beginning of the tape measure was in focus, and within 1 inch it started going out of focus. So we will go back to that F11. Our shutter speed was at 60. Yep, there we go. We could probably brighten it up a little bit. We can bring our ISO up just 1 notch. We'll bring it up to 800. Take another picture. There we go. That's pretty bright. Okay, what ISO does, the lower the ISO you have, or you take your photograph in, the better. Higher ISO brings in a little bit of noise, especially in the dark areas. Since we're lighting this pretty much, there's no black, there's really not going to be any darker areas for noise to appear in. So shooting at a higher ISO is not going to hurt it. The background's white, there's no additional dark colors in the background, and it's really not going to damage the coloration of the snake. Now, I'm at 60th of a second, f-stop 11, and ISO 400. So now I reduced ISO, that means there's even less of a chance to have any kind of noise in the background or where the darkness is of the photograph. Let's take a little photo of a snake and see what we can do in here. Remember, this is just a regular photo box, no flashes or anything. The photo box is like 35. We are going to put our holdback bamboo. There we go. First shot looks perfect. Oh, gotta move my focus point because I moved it down. God, he looks gorgeous, and it is a male. Actually, is a male. Now this is the guy that, if you guys follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, this is the guy that I took a picture of that I was taking lots of photos of, and all of a sudden he yawned. We'll do a real low f-stop, 1.8, and then we will do a really fast shutter speed. I had to go down to the ISO 100, but I want 200. So we will go up to a faster shutter speed. See, that's how you can get. You gotta know your focal distance too, that your camera will focal on, or will focus on. This camera, now I got the picture right there, kinda. Now mind you, the snake is not for sale. He's just a great posing artist. Alright, enough pictures of the bamboo. Now we're going to go on to stage 2. Yes, like I said, I'm comfortable, got my pajamas on. But now that we did the basics of a photo box for like doing photography for a Morph market in a white environment, now you can also experiment too. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to really experiment. I'm going to show you how I like to take photos on a black surface. A little more advanced, I would think, because of what it all involves. First off, what we're going to be doing, we're not going to be using the light that's in the room, but yet it's still going to be on, but you're not going to notice it in the photos. We're going to be taking photos with flash. This is a newer flash. It is a TT 5600 or 56D 560 TT 560. I'm stumbling. It is a completely manual flash. You know, you gotta push the buttons to go up and down in brightness. There is no zooming capabilities of it, but it does have the bounce card, and it does have the diffusion layer. This is stage 1. Now to hold this, first thought is that you're probably going to have, put it on the camera and take your photos. No. I would say no. Invest a little bit more money, get a newer tripod, which is maybe $20. The Godox S-mount, which I do believe is like $25. Then you can have the adjustability. And what this mount does, you can put diffusers on the front, soft boxes I should say, large ones and smaller ones, but it can hold, it clamps speed lights, aka flashes, camera flashes. Now you may ask yourself, how the heck am I going to be able to control that when it's not on the camera? Now I'm showing you cheap solutions first. This is the newer flash system. Well, it's their generic line. Here's the controller, which gets mounted onto the camera. Here is the receiver, which gets mounted onto the flash. You gotta pick the channels, the proper channels, they gotta match. And this is a way that you can actually flash this flash when it's not on your camera. These are like $16 or $18 for the pair. You just gotta supply your own batteries. It just uses the center pin for firing, so it can be on any flash, it can face any direction. So if I actually wanted to take a picture, you can focus and the flash actually went off at the power that was set. The closer you are to your animal, the softer the light will be. It's weird how it works like that, but the camera works totally different. Yes, it'll be brighter, but the fall off of the light will be a lot softer. It's weird how it works, but again, we will set up our camera to this. Now, we were able to use the meter on the back of our camera before. It's because we were using ambient light. Now that we add the flash into the mix, it's not going to work so well. But what we need to do first is we are going to turn off our flash. Yep, turn off our flash. Now we want all the light on this to be only flash. So in order to make sure that that happens, we need to take a picture of this cow and make it black. So I am going to start at, we're going to do ISO, or we're going to do a f-stop of 5.0. Then we're going to do a shutter speed of, maximum shutter speed that will sync with flashes is usually about 200 thousandths of a second. This camera can do 250. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go down to 200 thousandths of a second. Because then once I take a picture and I get a completely dark photograph, I do not want to change it from there. The only thing I will change is the brightness and intensity of the flash. My ISO needs to also be set at the lowest setting. I will take a photo. And as you can see, it's pretty dark, but I can still see the cow's head. So what we will do, we will up our f-stop to 6.3. On the back of the camera, I can still see it. So we're going to go up to f8. There. I can't see it. I can see a little bit over in the corner, but that's it. So now we're going to turn the flash on. I got the flash set at the lowest power, and we will take a photo, and boom, there you go. We got a photo of the cow. Now as you can see, there's a lot of shadow in the back. So we might want to move the flash. We want to control where the flash is going. Doesn't look like it's too badly exposed, but as you can tell, the flash is actually really close right now. After now I fixed the lens hood on the camera, you can see that got a really hard light going from the cow. But you gotta remember, all the light that's in the photograph is coming from this flash. Yeah, you see me taking enough pictures of the cow. Alright. Now remember, turn off the flash. Take a picture of the cow. No picture, because there's no flash involved. That's how you get rid of all the light in your room. You can see I'm filming this. We'll see how the black pewter is doing. There you go. One picture with flash. See, the nice thing about being handheld with the camera and being stationary with the flash is always going to be in the same spot. You can always adjust where your shadows are on the snake, by moving the camera around. Flash is key in order to get exactly the light that you really want to get. But you're saying, Dave, that's not a lot of light. You're right, because this is a small light source compared to the animal. Now, we're going to broaden out this light, the same light, and we're going to make it a lot softer over the animal. But for that, I got to put it away. If you got the kit for this holder and a softbox, you're in luck. The softbox is collapsible. I don't have it collapsed down all the way, but actually quite inexpensive. Comes with a grid, works with this flash, and it works with another flash I'll even show you. It all depends on how deep you want to go. Now, how this attaches is not the easiest in the world. There's 4 pressure points that goes around this circle. It's good for the price that it is, but it's not good for the convenience. There. Pressure fit. Now, above me is a 2 foot by 2 foot softbox with that very same flash. It's up higher now. It is dramatically larger than the animal that we are going to photograph, which means that the light will be even softer. We took area about this big and we increased it, I don't know how many times size bigger, but it's dramatically different. We're going to take the same animal, put them down here. Now, I did not change a signal setting on my camera, and I actually am not changing the power on the flash right now. I need to see what my flash is actually doing. As you can see by the image, because the flash is much higher and it's spread out a lot more, it's way more diffused, it's a lot softer, I have to up the power of the flash now in order to get the same result that I was getting before. I'm going to pump it up 2 more bars, almost to 2/3 power. As you can see, the shadows are getting way softer on the back. Here, I'll put a side by side up right now. This is the one with the flash with no softbox, and then the one on the right is the one with the flash with a softbox. You can see the shadows in the background, or on the back of the snake, look dramatically different. Larger the flash, the softer the shadows are on the back of the animal. Bump up the flash 1 more spot. Beautiful photograph. There we go. We got a simple little softbox, reasonably priced, along with the holder for the softbox or for the flash. A regular cheap flash that is not controllable in any way. We got a cheap controller, and yes, our camera body was a little bit more expensive, but we have a cheap lens, and we're getting awesome results. But wait, there's more. As you can see, I have a bigger softbox now that is a 3-foot by 2-foot softbox made by Godox. Godox also makes 8200. This is not the Pro, this is just the regular 8200. 200 watts of power. You have open bulb. Don't touch it with your fingers. Or it can be just like a speedlight. You have the Pharrell lens that's on there. I'm going to use it up in there. It's another reason why I got these holders, because I knew I was going to be getting one of these. Make sure everything's tight. Now, this has a built-in receiver. So that means I had to get a different transmitter. And will that brighten up? There we go. But I'm gonna shoot through a little hole here. You would think it'd be extremely bright, but if I have my flash set up correctly, or I can adjust the flash so I can make it as exposed or not exposed, basically as bright or as dim as I want to. Remember, I still have yet to change anything in the camera once I got that black picture at the very beginning. Everything that I do now is all in flash. If I need it to be brighter, I'll go into the menu system on this controller, because I can control these flashes no matter where they are. I can control how bright these flashes are at any given time. That's the fun part. Alright, what I have there is an 1/8 inch piece of black acrylic, 2-foot by 2-foot. As you can see, it's highly reflective right there. It's actually reflecting my computer up there, the light. So hopefully, just like in the very first photography video I shot, where I was trying to get the reflection, well, I actually did get a piece of acrylic, and now I have a big light, and I'm thinking this is how it is done professionally. We're going to try it. See how... Oofda. That is nice. But we're a little too bright. Actually not bad. What I think is, because there's light on my hose back there, and it's reflecting, and this needs to come down even more. This is the fun part, I guess. Oh, there's a reflection. But I'm getting all the reflection back there. So, there's one more thing I can do yet. Granted, yeah, I can fix those up in post, but there's one more thing to control the light and where it's going. And I'm going to do it. Okay, the last stage is the grid. It'll help direct light, as you can tell. Depends on the angle. About this angle, you won't be able to get any light unless it's from these. So it directs the angle. If these were smaller or taller, the angle will be a lot less where the light can actually spill. It's a way to control light to put it to where you want it to go without having to move too much if you want it more directional. Trying to not get so much back there. Now, do this one more time. See what? I didn't change any other settings. Reflection, just need it brighter. One stop more. There's a reflection. I'm gonna have to put this in manual focus because I'm having a hard time with the reflection that's already there. And there we go. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix it up a little bit in post because I'm getting, unless I go. It's a beautiful shot, but no, I like the, I know you want to cuddle. Derp. That was a good shot. Now let's see if I can do good facing this way. Since there's nothing over there reflective, no lights over there. I mean, yeah, I was getting no light before, but I wasn't shooting right at my computer. So I could have gotten it darker with no issues. But this is easier. This is my favorite little $14 accessory. It's a wired remote for the camera. Just plug it in. I can turn this on. I can push, flash. So that means since now the tripod is holding the camera, one hand is controlling this and I can move it all over the place. I can actually control the snake a little bit better on the hand, or with the other hand. Alright, the battery I just put in has low power, but enough to get a couple shots off. Now since I have a few photos left, let's put this girl right there. Now, yeah. That's beautiful though. I'm getting a little bit of the gray and the cardboard from underneath. There we go. That's better. Beautiful photo. Oh, that's a good shot. The cool thing about animals, don't know how they're going to react. Yep, get a couple more shots, that's about it. Ah, there it goes. Now, like I said, I know that was going to be a long video, but you can see all the different progressions of what you can possibly do. Now, remind you, I use the same camera, same lens the whole time. The only additions were different lighting setups and how I did it. So, you don't always have to be switching out your cameras. But in order to control flashes, you need a right camera body. But, as you can see, what I have learned since I took my original reflective photograph on this plate, on this heat-up plate, I went down a rabbit hole. I learned all this stuff. And that was the first time I ever tried doing reflective on the black acrylic with that flash, with the grid on the softbox. Got some good shots. Do me a huge favor. If you got any compliments, write them down below. If you got any other advice, write them down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, hit the thumbs down 2 times. Please share, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're trying to bring a lot of different things into the reptile community that there's not a whole lot of videos out there for or of. But yeah, we got Snakes breeding over here. These are our hatchlings here, or right here. And we got some more there. You know, we do have ball pythons. We also have crested geckos, leopard geckos. Oh my. But anyways, until next time, keep learning, spread the knowledge. We'll see you then.